They said I was just his wife. Then they opened the contract I wrote. My husband's business partner didn't wait for the funeral to end before trying to take control. He waited until the flowers arrived. There's a specific kind of opportunism that dresses itself in condolences. It speaks softly. It brings casseroles. It uses words like support and stability. And then it asks for signatures. Ethan had been gone for 5 days. 5. People say grief distorts time. They don't tell you how quickly other people move inside it. The company started in our apartment. Not the romantic kind of startup story people like to tell later. No exposed brick. No visionary speeches. No dramatic whiteboard moments. Just 2 laptops. 1 folding table. And a rent payment we almost missed twice. Ethan built the product. I built everything else. That's the part people forget, or ignore, or rewrite. He was brilliant. There's no point pretending otherwise. He could see patterns in data the way musicians hear harmony. He understood systems intuitively. I understood survival, invoices, legal structures, tax implications, client retention after Ethan charmed them into signing something ambitious. He created momentum. I made sure it didn't collapse. Together, it worked. Apart, that depended on who understood what the company actually was. Mark arrived on a Tuesday morning. He didn't knock. That told me everything. "Hey," he said, stepping into the living room like he still owned part of it. "I figured we should talk about next steps." Next steps. That phrase should come with a warning label after someone dies. I closed the folder in my lap. What kind of steps? He sat down without asking. People reveal their intentions through furniture. "Well," he said, leaning forward, "investors are nervous. Clients are asking questions. We need leadership clarity. We need clarity." Interesting, because I knew exactly what was unclear. Him. "If you've ever watched someone confuse your silence with permission," I said, almost absently. Comment 1. "It's a very educational experience." Mark blinked. He wasn't sure if I was talking to him. I wasn't. Not entirely. "I'm stepping in," he continued, "recovering. Temporarily. Just until things stabilize." Temporarily is a dangerous word. It rarely means temporary. It means until you can't take it back. I nodded slowly. "And what exactly would you be stepping into?" He smiled. "That was mistake number 1. The CEO role, obviously. I mean, no offense, but Ethan handled the big picture strategy. No offense. That phrase should also come with consequences. There are sentences women hear so often they stop reacting to them immediately. No offense, but he was the visionary. No offense, but you handled support. No offense, but leadership is different. No offense, but we mean the complicated parts. I let the silence stretch. Mark filled it. "I just think it's what's best for the company." No, he thought it was what was best for him. There's a difference. A very expensive one. "What do the investors think?" I asked. "They're concerned," he said carefully. "They want reassurance." About me? About continuity. There it was. Continuity. A beautiful word in the right hands. A weapon in the wrong ones. I stood up. Not abruptly. Not dramatically. Just enough to change the angle of the room. "Did Ethan ever explain how the company is structured?" I asked. Mark shrugged. "It's a corporation." "Yes. And we're co-founders." "Are you?" That was the moment. The exact moment. You could see it on his face. The flicker of doubt he didn't expect to feel. Because confidence built on assumption collapses very quietly. Years earlier, after Mark pushed for equity clarity one too many times, I had insisted we formalize everything. Not just ownership, control, decision rights, contingencies. Ethan didn't care about paperwork. I did. So I handled it. Every clause, every signature, every scenario, people hope they'll never need. Including this one, especially this one. I walked to my office, and came back with a single document. Thin. Precise. Enough. I placed it on the table. Mark didn't reach for it immediately. Smart, but not smart enough. You should read that, I said. He did. Fast. Too fast. Because people like Mark read for confirmation, not understanding. Then he slowed down. That's when it started to land. You're listed as. He stopped. Yes, that's not time. It is. The shareholder agreement was clear. Painfully clear. Ethan had transferred controlling shares into a voting trust. Trustee? Me. Operational authority in the event of his death? Also me. Board override provisions? Not applicable without trustee approval, which meant no Mark, no takeover, no temporary leadership. He wouldn't have done this without telling me, Mark said. I looked at him. He didn't tell you a lot of things. That wasn't cruel. It was accurate. There's a difference. You don't understand the technical side, he tried again, grasping. No, I said. I understand the company, and that mattered more, because companies don't fail from lack of ideas. They fail from lack of structure, from mismanaged growth, from people who think vision is enough. It isn't. It never has been. If you've ever been in a room where someone realized they underestimated you too late. Comment 1. That silence? That's what it sounds like. Mark stood up. This is going to scare investors. No, I said calmly. Your assumption is what would have scared them. There it was. The part he didn't expect. Because he thought I would hesitate. That grief would slow me down. That I would need guidance. Permission. Oversight. He mistook loss for weakness. People do that a lot. He left without saying goodbye. Also telling, the calls started that afternoon. Subtle at first. A message from a client asking about leadership changes. An email from an investor requesting a clarification meeting. And then, a forwarded message. Mark had already reached out to them. Of course he had. People who try to take control rarely do it quietly. They do it quickly, before facts can catch up. So I moved faster. I scheduled the investor call myself. Prepared documents, projected revenue, outlined continuity plans, not theoretical ones, actual ones, the ones I had already been executing. Because while Mark was imagining leadership, I had been doing it. For years, the meeting lasted 42 minutes. At minute 12, they stopped questioning. At minute 27, they started nodding. At minute 39, one of them said, "Why weren't we told you were this involved?" I smiled. That's a better question for someone else. Mark called me that night, angrier now, less polished. "This isn't over," he said. No, it wasn't, but not in the way he thought. A week later, we had a formal review meeting. Lawyers present. Documents open. Reality unavoidable. Mark tried one last time. We should renegotiate governance. For stability. Stability. Another word people misuse when they want control. No, I said. Simple, complete, final. Because here's the thing people don't understand. Control is not something you argue into existence. It's something you build into the foundation long before anyone notices. And once it's there, it's very hard to remove. Mark exited the company 2 months later. Voluntarily. That's the word we used. It sounded better. For him, the company didn't collapse. It grew. Carefully. Deliberately. Without noise. Without drama. Without people who thought ownership meant access. I kept Ethan's office the same for a while. Not out of denial. Out of respect. There's a difference. And every now and then, I'd sit in his chair and remember something he said once, early on, when everything still felt uncertain. They'll think I'm the company, he told me. Because I'm the one talking. I had laughed. And what am I? He didn't hesitate. You're the reason it exists. He was right. And when someone tried to take it, they learned something important. Very quickly, very quietly, very permanently.